After another fat, juicy green arrow in Game Week 20, we are just outside the top 50k of players, and in today's video, we're going to be running through my transfer plans ahead of Game Week 21. Now, before we dive into today's video, of course, if you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as we are trying to hit 12,500 subscribers by the end of the season, and it is only possible with your guys' amazing support. As you can see on screen, this is my team from Game Week 20. I am filming this before the Nottingham Forest Wolves game, and pretty much we're going to be on a green arrow regardless of what really happens in that game. It would probably take like Aina, 5 own goals, a Chris Wood red card. A lot would have to go wrong for me and my team if we were to end up on a red card. As you can see here, we've had a massive jump in terms of the rankings as well. So a fat green arrow. Hopefully if Wood and Aina as well can deliver, that would help us go a long way. In terms of the players that have done exceptionally well for us this week, obviously Isak scoring with his goal. Could have had a second as well in that one. Brian Mbeumo, the star man. I am so glad I've kept this guy into my team. He has been phenomenal at large parts this season. And again, saving my game week. Bruno Fernandes with a rogue assist against Liverpool. They did look a little bit more frail as well defensively. So maybe that's something to consider going further forward as well. Kirkez as well with a goal and a clean sheet. And Bournemouth, I think, are really going under the radar as one of the better defences in the Premier League this season. We'll see a little bit later with some data I've got kind of surrounding their XG conceded column. But a really good high quality defence. Now, let's, of course, not waste any more time on this. It was a great game week, but of course, we do have to keep planning forward and, you know, continuing to get greens and get into a decent position come the end of the season. So let's look at what the problems are with this team. Now, realistically, I think I could very easily roll and take 3 transfers into Game Week 22. That is a very large possibility. There are a few problem players I do think slowly emerging within the side. Obviously, Jackson is going to be one of them, and I think Kirkez as well. Let me quickly bring up the Bournemouth fixtures for you so you can see what I mean here. But yeah, as you can see, Chelsea, Newcastle, Nottingham Forest and Liverpool as the next 4 games. Not an ideal run and nothing I would really feel kind of confident playing him in. Probably the Nottingham Forest is going to be the only fixture I would definitely feel confident playing Kirkez in as well. The other problem is, of course, going to be Nicholas Jackson. He's really not been delivering, as you can see here, over the past few weeks. I pretty much brought him in around this game here, and as you can see, nothing. Only 1 goal in his past 5. If we look even further back, 1 goal in his last 7 appearances. So not a great set of returns for Nicholas Jackson. Obviously, the Chelsea run is getting a little bit more difficult. They're also not very free-flowing at the moment as well. And Jackson, like I said, is starting to become a problem. So that's where we're eyeing up 2 players to potentially bring in with our sides. We've obviously, like I said, got 2 free transfers, but realistically, I do feel sometimes, and the way that I played this game this season that's come very much to my fruition, is having that little bit of patience, playing players in more difficult games that you think on paper. Like, I'm even tempted to maybe put Aina in there ahead of Kirkez. It's a home fixture. Obviously, Forest as well with their strong defensive record this season. They actually beat Liverpool as well earlier in the season at Anfield as well. So what's them from stopping them doing that again? Keeping a clean sheet? Nothing really. So maybe just having that little bit of patience, maybe taking 3 transfers might be the ultimate play. But don't worry, I do have some transfer plans lined up. So let's move into then the first section. Now this is kind of the spicy section. This is one that I think is a little bit attacking from me. It's replacing Nicholas Jackson, like I said, who has been out of form, for Mateta. Now Mateta's form is no better than Jackson's, as you can see here over the past 5 game weeks. However, it is those delicious fixtures that I really would like to take a look at with Mateta. And as we'll come on to see, he is playing some of the worst sides for XG conceded in his next 4 Premier League games. Obviously, Manchester United in Game Week 24. And I think as well, Palace, they need to go on a little bit of a run to kind of stave off relegation, to be honest. They're kind of in a little bit of a dogfight at the moment. I don't think they're going to go down. I think they do have too much quality and strength. However, they are going to need to pick up more points over the next few weeks with some great fixtures if they do want to stave off relegation this season. Now, they do have some really good attacking players as well. Sarr and Eze could also be potential options, but I like the way my midfield is looking at the moment, and I do think Jackson out for Mateta could be the move. Like I said, looking at those expected goals conceded, so if we remember back to Jackson's Mateta's fixtures here, he's got Leicester, they're currently 3rd. West Ham, 4th worst defence in the league. Brentford, they're down in 5th. And then Manchester United as well, just down there as well in 7th as well. So you've got a cluster of teams here who are very, very poor at defending with an attack that is okay. You know, Palace aren't in a bad attack. You've got Mateta who knows how to find the goals. We saw that at the back end of last season as well. So everything here to me is starting to make sense. And I used this metric a lot last season to target some teams and to target certain fixture runs. And it worked wonders. And I'm starting to think now we've got a good set of data. We know which teams are very, very good defensively. We know which teams are very bad defensively. And we can now start to target certain teams when we're playing with attackers. And like I said, you've got a player that is going to be playing Leicester, West Ham, Brentford and Manchester United. It's a little bit of a gamble, a little bit of a risky one because Jackson very easily could deliver for Chelsea over those next set of fixtures. However, Bournemouth up for him next. As you can see, Bournemouth are pretty nifty defence as well. So maybe that's not going to be the easiest fixture as well. They've also got City in game week 23 as well. So it's not an ideal set of fixtures coming up for Nicholas Jackson over the next 3. And I think it could potentially be worth maybe playing this one a little bit aggressive, maybe taking, you know, Jackson out with still decent fixtures, but trying to target those weak defenses. Let me know what you think of that down in the comment section below, and do you think that could be a worthwhile move? Like I identified, my other problem is going to probably be Kirkez. Now, using the XG conceded data here as well, you can see that that might not be the worst idea to just keep him in, because as you can see here, Bournemouth, 5th best defence in the league for this metric as well. Really, really good numbers. They've actually put in some very, very impressive performances against top sides as well this season. So maybe just keeping him could be the ultimate play. However, I do have some replacements potentially lined up for Kirkez, whether or not we keep him or, of course, just transfer him straight out. So let's first off start out with him just potentially as a completely gone from the side and look for a replacement. It would be Lewis Hall. Look at those next fixtures coming up. Absolutely scrumptious, absolutely delicious. The back-to-back home fixtures as well. Newcastle as well, as we saw from that last section as well. Really, really good underlying data for them. He obviously contributes as well massively in terms of those attacking threats as well. He's honestly so good to watch. Newcastle at the moment are a real joy to watch as well. And I think he's one of the only players I've got in this side that, well, haven't got in my side, sorry, that can do a lot of damage to my rank. Everybody else, we're kind of covered off at the moment. He's the only one really that could do some massive damage to my rank. I think maybe Gabriel is probably the only other player that could really do some serious damage. So getting Lewis Hall in, it would obviously cover off the effective ownership. It would also mean as well we get him for these decent fixtures. We haven't obviously got to worry about Kirkez then. And then, you know what, we can just play him consistently with our other defenders as well. It would work really nicely with rotation of Aina and Okonza and everybody like that over the next 4 to 5 game weeks as well. Obviously got that decent attacking, decent XG conceded numbers as well from Newcastle. So it does seem like a little bit of just a no-brainer move. However, I am a little bit reluctant to use a transfer on a defender. I would rather maybe be a little bit more attacking and use it on a forward, but let me know what you think of that one. The other option I did have is, of course, we do have Greaves just sat chilling on the bench. He's never really going to play, and I was looking at 2 potential replacements within that cheaper defender bracket. Obviously, we've got a little bit of money, 0.5 left in the bank if we wanted to upgrade that spot. And 2 players that have caught my eye. Mykolenko for 1, not because of the fixtures. I don't think that's a great set of fixtures coming up for him. However, there is the potential that Everton do get a double against Liverpool, either in 24 or game week 25. Obviously, we're still waiting to see what happens with that, whether or not that is placed there or placed a little bit further down the line. So having him in could be a nice way to get another doubler into the mix, which would be great to see. Everton as well, defensively, they are pretty nifty. That's something that Sean Dyche's teams do. They're always very, very compact, very, very hard to break down. And I've had him for large parts earlier this season where he was phenomenal for me. Picked up plenty of random returns, clean sheets and stuff like that. So yeah, he could be a decent, nice little option. Obviously then would mean we've got a toss up between him and Kirkez. Maybe I just play him. Aston Villa, it's going to be a difficult one. I'd probably wait till the betting market comes out, see which way I'd probably go with clean sheets on that one. The other option, of course, would be then Timothy Castagna. He's got a great fixture this week, great fixture next week as well. I'd be pretty comfortable playing him against Manchester United as well. So he could be a very, very nice player. Then means we can keep Kirkez as well, a player that I do not really want to sell, to be honest, because he's putting up good numbers. Obviously, like we saw with the XG conceded column as well, Bournemouth are a very, very good defence this season as well. So selling the player off doesn't seem like the complete right strategy for me. So maybe just benching him for a couple of game weeks, bringing him back in could be something that we potentially could look at. Let's go and take a look at how my team is going to line up then if I do decide to make any of these transfer moves. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have put together my transfer plans into FPL.team. Obviously, if you want to go and check that out, I will leave a link to this amazing website in the description. But this is how option number 1 would look. Obviously, this is very attacking. It means we'd use both our free transfers. We'd bring in Lewis Hall, we'd bring in Mateta, we'd take out Jackson, and we would take out Kirkes. And you know what? I think this team is looking pretty nifty. Obviously, we'd bring Munoz in. We probably would play Rodgers instead of Chris Wood as well. That's probably the way we would go with that one. But overall, this could be a very, very nifty team going forward as well. If we obviously look to future game weeks as well, how this team would line up. Game week 22, we feel pretty confident, to be honest, playing that. Again, no real transfers probably would be required with this side. Game week 23, again, we probably could just roll, obviously, bringing in maybe Rodgers for one of the players here, but I don't really know who we'd probably bring him in for. And then game week 24, again, maybe drop one of these two or potentially both of these two, Mateta against United. But like I said, their XG conceded record is extremely poor at the moment as well. So we've got some really, really good moves here, and I do really like this as an option. It also would mean that we would be taking free transfers into game week 24. So if that was a double game week, we'd have plenty of maneuverability in terms of our transfers as well. We also have 1.1 million left in the bank as well. Probably would mean that we potentially could downgrade somebody, and then obviously use that money to activate our our manager chip as well. So that's option number 1. In terms of option number 2 that we could go for, of course, this would just mean remaining with Nicholas Jackson. It means we'd have Lewis Hall. However, the only problem with this one I did find was when we get to kind of game week 23 here, again, we still have free transfers, but then we have just Nicholas Jackson against City. But again, we've got the transfers in hand. So again, maybe might be just the move to just keep Nicholas Jackson over the next few weeks. Like I said, Mateta's data isn't looking anything exciting. Or the other option we could do is just simply do that Castagna one in for Greaves as well. The only reason I don't like this move is it only leaves me with 0.2 million in the bank. Obviously, again, we will be able to build our transfers into future game weeks, which is completely fine. However, I feel it does make our maneuverability a little bit more difficult over the next few weeks, especially with me potentially looking at bringing in that assistant manager chip if that double game week happens in 24 or 25 for Liverpool as well. And I like option 1 for that. Because of downgrading Jackson to Mateta, it frees up a hell of a lot of budget for us as well. Obviously, we are upgrading Kirkes to Hall by around 0.2 million. However, the overall funds saved would put us in a very advantageous position, of course, if we did want to activate that manager chip. Apologies, my throat's still a little bit on the worse, if you like. But yeah, I think right now I'm very, very happy with option 1, and I think that might be potentially the move that we do go for. Let me know down in the comment section below, which option do you prefer the best? Let me know which one you would go for. Of course, if you've got any questions about your team as well, get them in the comment section below, and we'll try to answer as many as we possibly can. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in game week 21.